Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. It is an honor to be here. Thank you so much for welcoming me. Like you just said, you don't really bring in outsiders, so I feel honored that you welcomed me in today. We were talking a lot this morning about failure and how to surpass that, how to overcome that. I have a story or two about failure, but I attribute everything that I've accomplished in life up to this point to one failure. It was only a few short years ago, but I remember it like it was yesterday. April 21st, 2013. I woke up on the floor, disoriented, weak, not knowing what had happened, only to then realize I can now add suicide to my long list of life's failures. Now that said, if you're going to fail at anything in life, that's probably the best thing to fail at. I can obviously laugh about it now because I've told this story time and time again, but in those moments, being driven to the hospital, waking up with the doctors, standing over me saying, "It's a miracle you're alive. You've been given a second chance at life. You're lucky." Lucky, I said. Oh yeah. I was feeling a lot of things in that moment. I promise you, lucky was not one of them. I did 6 weeks time, I call it, and this was my view. So when you think your life is bad, just go on a 6-week holiday looking at the butts of 2 police officers, and then tell me how bad your life is. I realized it wasn't so much the suicide that I had to get over, it was this. And this is what made me kick myself into gear and say, no more. It stops here. Because for whatever reason, God did not want you to stop. I was told with what I did, it was a miracle that I was alive. Moments later, the police parted and I saw someone go by on the gurney. This person also made an attempt at their own life, also survived, but was not so lucky because that person ended up a paraplegic. So now when I hear the word lucky, I really realize they weren't lying. I was lucky. Because looking at me now, I've spoken to a couple of you outside, out in the hall. Would you have known that this was my story? Probably not. Anyone who sees me on TV, my students, anyone who's seen me public speaking, I'm a goofball. I'm rolling around on the ground with kids making funny faces. Right? They wouldn't know that this was my story. So I can put it in my past, I can move forward, and that is what I have done. I used to be an elementary school teacher. After being let out of the hospital, I had a job to do still. I had to go back to school, pretend that nothing happened, nobody knew what was going on. I obviously did not want my students to know what was going on. I was that teacher who played the ukulele, danced around the classroom, sang, told jokes. I had to be that person again. I had no choice. But I knew that that's not really where my heart lied. But you have to pay the bills, right? Who here has one of those things called a job? So who here is not fulfilled by their job? I'm assuming, yes, most of you, which is why you're here. You want to find the direction that your internal compass should be pointing. And a lot of us have trouble with that. I've switched careers like 4 or 5 times now. I used to be a photographer. I did that for 7 years. Then I was a teacher. I did that for 7 years. There seems to be a theme here. I went back to the classroom and I thought, okay, if I can't control what's going on inside my head, I have been diagnosed with depression, anxiety, and OCD, the ultimate mental illness trifecta. I'm lucky, right? That's my word, lucky. I realized I don't have control over what is going on inside me. That's what an illness is. As much as cancer, you can't control cancer. I cannot control this diagnosis. But as a human, you want to control some aspect of your life. So what's left? You can't control what's inside. The only thing left for me was controlling my outer surroundings, my external surroundings. So I realized that if I was in a calm space, I started to feel calm. Anything could be happening in life. Nothing will ever be worse than this view. So I went back into my classroom before the students got there. I started taking down all the posters, all the artwork, all the things that they make you think you need when you're a teacher. It's called word pollution. It's just distractions. It's just stuff everywhere. I started pulling that down. I started to feel calmer. I got a few plants in the room. I created what was like a spa environment in my classroom. Truth be told, full disclosure, I was doing that for myself because I did not want those kids to ever have to wonder if there was something wrong. This was their safe space. They didn't need to know what was happening to me on the other side. So I created this space for me, and it was helping. But what was even better was that I started seeing it help my students. They were performing better on standardized testing. They were calmer in the classroom. I was given some of the most rambunctious kids in all the land. All of a sudden, they were okay in the classroom. They felt at peace. And most importantly of all, they were happier coming to school every day. Our class wasn't boring. I still had fun decorations here and there, but it didn't look like a rainbow exploded on the walls. Right? It was a place that was working for everybody. So much so that all the teachers in the school would make fun of me all the time. Hey, can we have lunch in your room so we can eat off the floor? Ha, ha, ha. That's probably not how they laugh, but that's how I heard it in my head. And so one of the teachers gave me a book called The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. She said, it's like this book was meant for you. And she gave it to me. I said, okay, well, thanks for the free book. I'll read it. Who here has ever heard of Marie Kondo? Okay, a decent amount of you. For those of you who are unfamiliar, I'll give you a quick synopsis. This woman wrote a book called The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. After reading this book, I Googled her name to see, who is this? I've never heard of her before. And in the moment that I read this book, she opened up a course to train consultants from around the world. There were, I think, 100 of us. I later found out that in 7 minutes, the course sold out. Yeah, wow. Was I lucky, perhaps? So I flew to New York City, and I went and took this course about organization. I kind of already knew little bits and pieces of what it meant, what it did for me, what it did for my students. I didn't know this could be a job. I went and did this course, and my mind was blown. I thought, wait a second, what if I can help more than just the 30 kids I have every year? Because year after year, I was realizing what was going on. I was implementing this in my classroom. Given this book in June, I go to the course in August. All of a sudden, it was like the light bulb went off or on. I don't know. You know the ping sound? Yeah, that happened. I left my job as a teacher. I created my own business, and I'm standing before you today with this business. I travel the world helping clients organize their lives, declutter their lives, find that inner peace. Predominantly using this method. Now, this method, what I love about it, I get asked this all the time when I'm on TV, well, what's so great about the KonMari method? What's so great about that calamari thing you do? Yeah. Calamari is great for 2 reasons, but we'll talk about the KonMari method first. What I love about it is that when we talk about decluttering, a lot of times in your mind you're thinking, actually no, I'm going to ask you. If I said the word declutter, what are you thinking? Front row here, I'm putting you on the spot. There you go. Remove the unnecessary bits. When you think of the word remove, it's kind of a negative, right? Because you're thinking, I need to get this out of my life, right? So it puts you in a negative mindset. The KonMari method focuses your mindset on the positive. So instead of thinking what you want to get rid of, it's telling you what you should keep. So her phrasing is spark joy. Does this spark joy in your life? I've never used that phrasing in my life. I feel weird saying it even now, the 110th time. So what I say is, how is it improving your quality of life? Do you need this in your life? Do you want this in your life? Does it make you smile when you pick it up? How is this item improving your quality of life? From there, you gather all of those items, and then guess what's left over? You're supposed to guess what's left over. Help me out here, folks. I know we just had lunch, but the clutter, the stuff you don't want. But you didn't have to deal with it. You were just picking up the things you loved. And by process of elimination, it's now all there. So that's what I love about this method. Look at this pile of clothing over here. This is actually a real client, probably around between your ages there. So this little girl's piled under her pile of clothes. We thought it was hilarious. Basically, the parents paid me for an hour of us goofing around and doing stuff like that, but we all have a pile of clothing like this. I used to be an emotional shopper. That's where I would find my instant gratification for 35 seconds. What we tend to do is we spend money we don't have on things we don't need to impress people we don't even like. Am I right? I want you to admit this. How many of us have purchased something to impress someone that we don't even like? You used to. There you go. This is not a criticism. I was the queen of that. I have this outfit. I tell this story sometimes. Or I tell this story a lot, sorry. But I think for you it's the first time, so great. I have this outfit that I bought. I was out at the mall. It was this $400 gorgeous outfit that I thought, wow, this is perfect for a date to the opera. When the hell have I ever been on a date to the opera? The answer is never. To this day, out of principle, I'm keeping that one. That one is staying. But what a silly thing to say. Like, I watched too many episodes of Gossip Girl or something that made me think that, oh yeah, I need this $400. Like, it wasn't like a $20 outfit. That's a significant amount of money for someone who doesn't have money to be spending going to the opera in this fictitious date with this fabulous outfit. So once I realized that my internal compass didn't know where to point because of all this clutter, all these distractions, something needed to be done. So I started little by little getting rid of just things in my life. Ooh, just kidding. And I saw that the less I had, material-wise, the happier I was. Remember, I left a job where I had an income, a steady income. I had benefits. First, I loved going into the entrepreneurial world until the first time I went to the dentist. And I said, I'm sorry, I owe you how much? I have to pay you. So next time you see me on stage, I might not have any teeth, full disclosure. But I realized I was spending my money on silly things that didn't matter to impress people I didn't like. So it was time to do some purging. But not only with the items that I didn't need, but also with the people. And again, this is not saying like go home and say, we're not friends anymore, we're done. This is not what I'm saying. I'm saying realize who in your life is making you better, who is building you up. Sometimes we stay friends with people just out of habit. But those people are knocking you down. Those people are considered clutter. So it's time to go and just start hanging out with those who make you feel better a little bit more and make that little transition. And you're kind of going to start decluttering that way. Now, how does this apply to the workspace? Some of us are entrepreneurs. Some of us go to one of those job things. It's all about sparking joy, right? But how do you spark joy in the workplace? It's not like you can go to work and shove your boss in one of those Goodwill bins without getting arrested. So how do you do this? It's about creating order. Is there a way to make this a bit bigger by chance? I don't know. I'm not sure why it's so small, but maybe not. Hopefully you can see a little bit. But this office was an office of a head engineer at an architecture firm in New York City. So he flew me out there in March of this year. And he said, I think my office is fine, but everyone else told me I should hire an organizer, and we Googled you, and you came up. So I mean, night and day. Like, we're all laughing, but this guy was serious. And I like to play a game with clients when I arrive to their space that they say is fine. I say, oh, do you have a blue pen? And they think I'm legitimately asking for a blue pen. And then I just do one of these, and I wait, and I count for how long it's taking this guy to find his blue pen. Because he's lifting papers, he's looking, he's like, yeah, here somewhere. And I say, no, I don't need it, you're fine. I said, but you just proved my point. I said, if you can't find something in your office in less than 10 seconds, you're wasting time. Time is money. Whether it's your money or the business's money, as an entrepreneur, it's all your time is all your money. So you don't want to be wasting that time looking for a blue pen. And I'm not talking rocket science here. What we ended up doing, I also found 7 iPhone boxes in this I was going to say mess, I don't want to be negative, in this lovely workspace. And I love reusing containers because I'm an environmentalist as well. I'm not saying for you to leave here and go to the container store and spend $3,000 on containers. We've got things already that we can use. And it's a matter of just compartmentalizing. He had 1 billion blue pens, he had 1 billion red pens, he had 1 billion black pens. So I opened the iPhone box. Hint here, they're perfect size for pens. And they're free with your $1,000 phone. So $7,000, we got some bins. We organized his drawer with just iPhone boxes, and his mind was blown. He's like, this was worth flying you out here. I'm like, buddy, I hope I see you again really soon. How big's your house? I could be back in the summer. If you look at the top there, those were all little prototypes of buildings that he was working on in New York. And I said, can you tell me what these mean to you? He's like, well, these are really important. They mean a lot to me. This is my pride and joy. I said, well, how can you even tell what is what? There's so much there. I said, I want you to go through each one. And I did the Spark Joy test with him. I said, I'd like you to go through each one and tell me what they are. Guess what? By nature of habit, what's he going to pick first? Again, by nature of habit, his favorites. Thank you. I'm gonna really pick on you guys now. The back row, you're done now. I'm coming for you. His favorite. In the little cubby there, you can see at the top in the second photo, those were his favorites. One of those is a block from the World Trade Center, which he was a part of. One of them is a brick from the new Yankee Stadium. And another one is from the rubble of 9/11. And he said, whenever I question what I'm doing for a living, if I'm happy, I look at those. I said, really? In the first photo, you look at, I said, no, we're going to put them on display. Those are your Spark Joy items. Now he's in this office. If he's having a rough day, all he has to do is look up. We all need that motivation. Nobody has it perfect all the time. Even the Kardashians, for goodness sake. They were born into money and they're still struggling. You couldn't pay me to be one of them with all that they're going through, honestly. But even they go through struggles. People we look up to, we think that their lives are so great. One of my favorite sayings is, don't compare someone else's highlight reel to your behind the scenes. Because they don't see your behind the scenes, they see Instagram. If you went on Instagram right now, I look like I comb my hair every day and wear makeup. It's ridiculous. It's not true at all, but that's what I need people to see. So create a highlight reel that is your real life. How productive do you think this man is now in that second office? And here's the kicker. I don't do the work for them. I go in and work with my clients so they can maintain it. That's the trick. Because if I just did it for you, you're going to have to keep hiring me back, which for this guy is fine. I'll keep going back there. But this is a complete fluke. I posted something yesterday online. I was in one of the newspapers here, and I posted an image from that. And he commented on it, and he said, I can't believe that my office still looks the same. This was in March, from March to now. Everything that's there is now functional. He goes, I get a lot more work done. He said, I'm happier than I've ever been at work. So there you go. So let's talk about some productivity statistics. So it says the average executive wastes 6 weeks annually searching for important documents. 6 weeks annually. So that's 2 minutes here, 2 minutes there, 2 minutes there. You might as well just be on vacation. If you 6 weeks, that's insane. The average office employee spends an hour and a half cumulatively each day looking for something. So that's the blue pen syndrome, I call it. Where's this? Where's that? Where's that? Where's that? Now, if you're an entrepreneur and your time is your money, look at how much money you're wasting. I just want you to take 2 seconds to think about a time where you've lost something. I'm sure it's not going to take too long to think about that. I'm sure it happens a couple times a day. Think of how frustrated you get. I'm quite certain that those aren't positive moments where you're like, oh, well, lost my car keys. Guess I'm going to be late. No, you're usually like, oh my, where are they? Bah, bah, bah. And then, it escalates, and then all of a sudden, by the time you find them and get to work, you're like, hi, nice to see you. And then the person who just greeted you is now being on the receiving end of this bad mood, all because you didn't have a home for your keys. If your keys were always in the same spot, guess where you would always find them? If your red pen is always in the same spot, guess where you're always going to find it? And when you find what you're looking for, you're in a good mood. Right? Life as an entrepreneur is not easy. Did I mention the whole dental benefits thing? I'm still not over that. It's not easy. There are going to be probably more downs than ups, but the ups are worth it. But you can eliminate some of those low points by making sure that you're able to find everything you need when you need it. One of the ways, just kidding. Steve Jobs, where are you? Oh, it's doing it on its own. There's a ghost. Reducing decision fatigue is another way to help us not waste time. I hear some rumbles in here. I like it. What are we thinking? Pardon me? The uniform, right? Yeah, she said, I feel like it's easier for me. It's for men. Oh, easier for men. Sorry, you're really far away, my hair. And it is and it isn't. I'm gonna break into how we can do this as females, because you're right. It is easier for men. But there are tweaks that we can make. But we all know who this is, correct? He is the co-founder of Apple. I always make sure I say co-founder because I know Steve Wozniak personally, and I always make sure I give him the plug. That's why I talk about the Apple boxes too. Steve Jobs didn't want to waste time on decisions that didn't improve his quality of life or, quite frankly, ours. Who here owns an Apple product of some sort? At home, here? Yeah, almost everybody. Did you know that we make 35,000 decisions every day? 35,000. Waking up, do I brush my hair first or my teeth? Do I shower, do I not? For me, it's usually not, but you're lucky today, you're welcome. Which door do I go through? What should I have for lunch? All these things that it's using your brain. We do it so often we don't even realize. But imagine if we reduce this like Steve Jobs. When he was asked, he said, I don't want to use my brain power on something that doesn't matter, like my outfit. So he wore his uniform, black turtleneck, blue jeans from Costco, and New Balance sneakers. Imagine opening your closet every day and just right away being like, whoop, boop, I'm ready to go. No thought. Who here traveled from far away? I'm assuming most, right? How fun was it to pack for this? How many times did you pull something out and put something back in its place? Yeah, a lot of your faces are doing this. Imagine how easy it would be if you had a uniform. Now, for the females, and when I say emotional shopper, you've heard some of the weird outfits I buy for things that I don't even go to. That's not including all the other outfits that I used to have. But I realized that obviously he was onto something. Slightly more successful than I am. Probably had dental benefits. I'll get over that eventually. I'm just not quite there yet. But for females, or even males, maybe you don't want to go down right to that. Create something that is like a uniform. For me, my uniform is you're looking at it. My sneakers, jeans, this white shirt, and a blazer. This morning, I didn't know what to wear, so I changed my blazer 3 times. But that was only 30 seconds, as opposed to, should I wear a dress? Should I wear heels? Should I have my hair up? Should I a sweater, a scarf? What? That was exhausting just to say. Imagine going through that every day. But now my uniform is this. And believe it or not, we all have our uniform already. It's what you wear when you're at home for the weekend, where you know you're not going to run into anyone. It's true. Everyone's laughing. I know it's true. I have a blue t-shirt that I've had for like 20 years. It costs $7. I wear that more than anything else that I own. That's my uniform. But then when I go out in public, so again, you're welcome. Yeah. But we all have it already, so hone in on that. And I'm not talking like stop shopping, this isn't an anti-consumerism entirely speech. Otherwise, I'd be standing up here naked, and that'd be really weird for everyone. So clothes are okay. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. But it's a matter of knowing what you need, what's going to improve your quality of life. So, okay, thank you. I feel like I press it, and then they press it, and then I press it back, and then we're playing a little game here. It's kind of fun. You can take a picture of this slide. These are my top 5 takeaways. We're going to have an activity in a moment. But of all the ramblings that I've done today, I would say that these are my top 5. Give everything you own a home. My favorite saying that I created myself was respect the things you own by giving each of them a home. If you treat your items like you do your children, like you always know where your kids are sleeping at night. They're not like in the middle of the lawn or somewhere in the garage. You put them to sleep in their beds, I hope, right? Otherwise, we're going to be making some phone calls later today, excuse me. But you always know where your children are. Why not treat everything in your home that way? Did you know that toothpaste and your toothbrush are the one thing in the home that never go missing? It's true. We can all brush our teeth half asleep, which most of us do, because our toothbrush and toothpaste are always in the same spot. Isn't it funny how that one thing we don't bend on? We're like, nope, that's not moving. The hairbrush, that can go missing. Makeup, that can be all over the place, but the holy toothbrush and right? Everyone's nodding. They're like, oh yeah, that's so true. Imagine if everything had a home like that. You could find everything whenever you needed it. So that's respect the things you own by giving each of them a home. If it's not improving your quality of life, get rid of it. We spend so much money on things that we don't need. Who's ever held a magnet to a compass? What happens? It changes direction. It starts going wonky. It starts spinning one way, then another. It doesn't know what it's doing. That's what clutter does to our internal compass. Who here in this room, I'm going to assume everyone, because that's why we're here today, but who here has ever felt lost? Like, I don't know my life's purpose. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing with my time, with myself, with my life. That's because your internal compass has a magnet around it, and that magnet is clutter. It's the people in your life who are guiding you into one direction. Live for yourself first before you start worrying about everyone else. And that goes the same for people who are parents. Everyone, like, it's like the whole, this is a cliche, I'm sure everyone said this on stage at some point, but the whole, like, put your mask on first before helping someone else. Same kind of thing. You can't expect to find your purpose or your compass. You can't follow your compass if it doesn't know where it's going, because you're trying to please this guy, this girl, that person over there. Oh, I have to buy a fancy car because then those people will respect me. I have to wear a fancy suit to work because then they'll think I'm smarter. Why not just be smarter? You can still be smart in your t-shirt, right? Think about these things. It's a fun little game we're playing. I have to look up there because I don't see it on my screen. Make the best use of your brain power. We talked about that. Don't waste your time thinking about things that don't matter, especially in the world of entrepreneurship. Is that a word? I think I added an extra syllable in there. Yeah. I'm so smart. I was a teacher before. Make sure you're making use of your brain to make the decisions that are going to make you successful. And I don't necessarily mean monetarily. I mean successful in how you feel, what you are doing to provide a service to others. Stop trying to impress people by your actions or with your stuff. Rewind. Stop trying to impress people with your things and start impressing them by your actions. That didn't go well the second time either. I blame lunchtime too. Can I take that? Can I take that out? Create a clutter-free zone in your home for you to work in. Whether you are an entrepreneur or you come home and bring work home sometimes, even if it's a tiny corner in your home where it's guaranteed that that surface will never have something on it. Because anytime you have to go over to a table and move things over to get something done, guess how many times you're not going to do that? A lot. But if the table is already ready for you, it's just a matter of putting your laptop down there, you have no blockers. It's not going to kill your momentum. We're here. It's Momentum Day. Picture a ball rolling down a hill, and then all of a sudden there's a pile of clothes there. What's going to happen? It's going to stop. It kills your momentum. You may be on the road. You may be saying, okay, I've got this. Let's do this. But, whoops, I've hit a wall now because of all the stuff. And then you go and watch TV, go eat a sandwich, go take a nap on the lawn. And then this is my favorite one. Practice self-care, practice gratitude. When you are in a state of gratitude, you can't be in another state. You can't be angry. You can't be sad. My favorite, you can't be wanting for more. Because how could I possibly want that bag when I love the bag that I have? How can I possibly want that friend when I'm really happy with the friendships I've got? I'm not saying don't make new friends, but I'm saying instead of jumping, because there are those people, the friend jumpers, I call them. Their loyalty to you lasts as long as whatever you can give them. Why not be grateful for that friend all the time? No matter whether the good times, bad times. Be grateful for the shirt you have on your back, because you walk down the street, there are people who don't even have that. And one of my biggest things that I make sure that I do every week, this is not tooting my own horn, this is just something that might help you. But I work with clients every day of the week. I go, you can't see those buildings anymore, but all those buildings that you see there, I go and speak in them to all these really, really rich people who have all the things, who aren't any happier. They give me all the things to take away so they're happy. They pay me a lot of money to do it. I love it. And then I go and make sure that those things find a home. And I start with the people in this city who are living under the highway. Because I can only be grateful for something if I'm in the moment and realizing that there are people who have far less. So no matter how bad my life is, if I'm practicing gratitude, I'm living in that moment. I am lucky. So have a look on your tabletops here. There's colors there because I was an elementary school teacher. So I did it just for these two, so the rest of you, hope you like colors too. But there's a bit of a gratitude worksheet, correct? I want you to take a few minutes. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to just have a look through here. So the first one, I am grateful for, that's the blue square. That one's just generic. Just write the first 3 things that come to mind. Then we're going to talk about, when I say talk about, I mean you're going to write and I'm just going to stare at you. There's no talking involved here. 3 strengths. And I want you to be so honest here because you're not showing this to anybody. You're not showing this to the person you came with. You're not showing this to someone at home. This is for you and you alone. Because a lot of times when we're talking, someone says, tell me something nice about yourself. We all like clam up and turn into a turtle in our shell. We're like, no, I can't. Because we're taught to not do that because that's boastful. I'm not asking you to boast. If this is only for you, tell me what you like about yourself. But not tell me, tell the paper. Tell you what you like about yourself. So go through, I'm assuming you can all read because you're here, so I'll give you a few moments to go through that without me yammering on. Part of this exercise is to really get you to face yourself. Because a lot of times we even hide from ourselves. We don't admit what are the good things about us, what we are grateful for. Once you face that, it'll help you down the path to practice this daily. I take 5 minutes every morning and 5 minutes at the end of every day to look through my list. Because sometimes you need to be reminded, which is why we're writing it down. But if I'm having a really crummy day, I just pull this out of my side table and I just sit there and I look through it and I say, I am grateful for this. I am grateful for this. Yes, some bad things are happening right now, with business, with work, with family, whatever. But I still have these things that no one can take away from me. Okay, so I know that some of you aren't done. This could be something that you do later on. It doesn't need to be done today. I just wanted to get the ball rolling a little bit. But what I would like for you to do right now is to stand up, please. And we are going to bring our internal compass back to where it should be. We're about to remove that magnet, okay? I'd like for you to close your eyes. And I would like for you to think of one of your happiest memories in life. You can go back as far as you need to go. It could be something from childhood. It could be something from last week. It could be who knows when. I want you to think about what is that happiest memory. How long ago was this? Where were you? Without opening your eyes, you're still in this place. I want you to look around the surroundings of where you are. Because believe it or not, there is something about this moment that made you who you are today. A lot of what is good about you comes from this moment of happy times. Now let's take a moment and be grateful for that memory. Grateful that we can remember whatever this was. I want you all to take a deep breath in and exhale. And you're going to do it one more time, taking in this memory with the deep breath in And then exhaling all the clutter. And I'm going to have you do it one more time. Inhale with the gratitude. Exhale the clutter. You can open your eyes. And I want you to remember whatever this moment was, even jot it on the bottom of the paper right now. Because for whatever reason, you may not even know right now, but later on, this memory might come back to you and you'll say, aha, that. And I want you to take that with you and get rid of all of the clutter that is in your life so that you can become the most successful people that you can be. Thank you very much.